Good afternoon, and thank you for this opportunity to present today. My name is Ian Holdsworth, and as they said, I'm a senior at the United States Merchant Marine Academy of Kings Point, New York. I'd like to take this time to present my paper, The OBO, A Bridge Between Supply and Demand Fundamentalists and Those Ushering in the Eco Age. Today I'll be touching upon a few things, beginning with the global push towards environmental sustainability and going green. Tying this into the maritime industry, I will discuss the current eco debate and how the two opposing sides not only disagree, but are in direct contradiction of each other, leaving us with little, if any, compromise at present. However, a compromise can exist. This is where the oil bulk ore carrier enters the picture. By highlighting the flexible trading arrangements of these unique vessels, the compromise will become apparent, allowing us to better understand how these overlooked vessels really do offer the best of both worlds. We all recognize the current push towards environmental sustainability, which started out as a grassroots effort, has led corporations to reduce their carbon footprints and promote social responsibility. Shipping is no different. While some of these initiatives have been spurred on by regulation, just as many result from the economic advantages of increased fuel efficiency and speed optimization. Of particular attention lately, the eco debate has been an ongoing discussion of the merits of modern eco-vessel design improvements and their impact on the current depressed markets. This debate is characterized by two rather distinct sides. In one corner, owners are ushering in eco-tonnage, while the other side intends to wait out the slump and reassess as the market recovers. Unfortunately, these two sides directly contradict each other. One calls for restraint and a fix in the market equilibrium through fundamental forces. The other seeks to force a profit in a weak market by increasing operating efficiency, despite the negative impacts that new eco-tonnage would have on freight rates. As one can see, this leaves little room for compromise. However, as I mentioned, compromise can exist. I am here to offer a rather unorthodox approach towards this eco debate, one that caters to both sides. In order to understand this compromise, it's important to be familiar with where both sides are coming from. Here we have the supply and demand curves for the shipping market. The demand is relatively steep, marked by the shipper's need to transport their product regardless of price. The exponential supply curve is bounded by the finite capacity of the world's fleet and the freight rate required to support viable operations. Currently, we are here with record low freight rates and a supply that far exceeds the demand. Supply and demand fundamentalists seek market recovery and increase profits in either of two ways. The first would be for a global economic recovery, which would increase demand for marine transport, raising rates. Unfortunately, this hasn't happened yet. The second way is to see a reduction in supply, either by increased scrapping or reduced vessel orders. The eco proponents have a bit more aggressive strategy. Hoping to maximize their profits during these depressed times, eco owners seek to lower their operating costs in an effort to widen the margin between break-even and current freight rates. However, concerns ultimately arise that if a timely fundamental recovery doesn't occur, the influx of eco-tonnage will result in even lower rates, eroding away at the profit margins these very vessels aim to benefit from. This is where the OBO enters the picture. The idea of a combined carrier is relatively simple. It's all about the backhaul. By minimizing ballast legs, these vessels increase revenue earning late in time. Back in the 1960s and 70s, these ships grew in popularity. They proved very profitable during the oil booms of 1967, 70, and 73. Similar to our current situation, OBO capacity soon began to surpass the available backhaul cargoes. These vessels require an operating budget approximately 15% more than similar single-trade vessels. Revenue premiums slowly began to erode, and they eventually reached an operational break-even point. Additionally, the excess capital costs involved in OBO construction led owners to abandon expensive new build programs. However, in the context of the eco debate, the OBO offers a compromise to both sides and a bridge to get us through this current market glut. By incorporating eco-design technology into a modern combined carrier, an operator would be able to benefit from all the significant efficiency savings that come with new builds, while simultaneously limiting their impact on market overtonnage by up to 50%. It's important to understand that this proposed solution is limited in nature. Don't worry, the OBO is not meant to be the long-term future of the shipping industry. However, for companies seeking a profitable bridge spanning the market's next 20 years, the OBO has a lot of potential. New build oil bulk ore carriers have several things going for them. First off, timing is ideal on the S&P markets, where struggling shipyards are offering incentives and depressed prices to hook in new contracts. The prolonged slump doesn't suggest any overnight recovery, mitigating concerns over new build lead time. While all this is great, the OBO's management of its supply contribution is the most critical aspect of this eco-debate compromise. By triangulating voyages and swapping markets, the OBO has the ability to actively manage its supply contribution in both the wet and dry bulk shipping segments. Tying these two mechanisms together, OBOs face age-specific functionality, which fortunately lines up with long-term market recovery. Focusing back on triangulation, let's review a brief case study. This visual represents an oil trade, where crude is shipped from the Middle East to the US Gulf. This is a 66-day round trip for a ship at 13 knots, allowing 2 days for each cargo operation. The black line signifies laden time, while the orange represents ballast legs. Now here's a dry bulk trade, where coal is shipped from Hampton Roads, Virginia to the west coast of India. This particular route requires a 58-day round-trip voyage under the same circumstances. This is what it would look like for a triangulated OBO servicing both of these oil and coal trades in one connected round-trip voyage. The most striking visual is the reduction in the orange ballast legs, which are now only along the US East Coast and from India to the Persian Gulf. Naturally, this triangulated route requires a longer voyage time of 76 days. This lengthened round trip is the key to triangulation's capacity regulation function. As you can see, the OBO completes fewer annual voyages than its single trade peers. As a result, for this particular oil trade, the OBO supply contribution would be 13% less than an equivalent size tanker. Even more impressive, a 24% reduction in capacity impact would be felt in this coal trade. Owners operating these new eco-OBOs would be reaping the benefits of optimized fuel efficiency and increased laden time without the full impact on supply that comes with a new build single trade vessel. We're all familiar with the cyclical nature of shipping, characterized by impressive market peaks and equally noteworthy troughs. Triangulated trade results in a more moderated cycle as capacity is divided between multiple sectors. This serves as a benefit in depressed markets, however, it can lead to missed opportunities in times of excessive boom. Fortunately, owners have a trick up their sleeves. By swapping from triangulated routes to single market during the peak times, owners are once again positioned to profit handsomely, as did their counterparts during the oil booms of the 60s and 70s. The flexibility of the OBO allows owners to make time-sensitive market decisions without having to wait a year or two for a vessel new build or go through a vessel acquisition. By triangulating in depressed times and swapping markets as booms occur, the OBO has a lot of potential. When you look at where we are now in the cycle, you can see triangulation is favorable in the immediate future. As touched upon, these vessels have an age-specific functionality. Oil vetting requirements are tougher on combined carriers, often barring them from the oil trade after 15 years. As this happens, most OBOs convert over to pure dry bulk carriers for the latter part of their lives. Within a 20-year perspective, a new build OBO is its most useful service during its first 15 years, giving owners the ability to triangulate during the current prolonged slump. By the time this new vessel is no longer able to operate in both trades, the market will likely have recovered to a point where triangulation is no longer critical, and the vessel can revert profitably to a single trade. Navios' CEO, Angeliki Frangou, says it best: her crystal ball is no more accurate than anyone else's. Even so, divided owners remain firm and uncompromising, each with views from the complete opposite ends of the spectrum. For those who view this division as a hindrance to the future of shipping, a modern eco-OBO offers an excellent hedge to the ever-present volatility. Investors would reap the benefits of increased operating efficiencies, all the while limiting their impact on fleet oversupply. For those owners looking for a conservative approach to the current depressed conditions, an eco-OBO may be just the bridge needed to span the next 20 years. Thank you for your time.